enter the high road. Here we go.
There you are. You went quiet for a time. You killing the bear wouldn't prove easy. You and your machine. You survived. There's a lesson here in the divide. Old world history about paving and intentions could teach the Republic a thing or two, if they listened. They have an idea of trying to do what's right, never quite getting there. Maybe you've seen it. Neptune. Elsewhere.
You got a better way?
Yes, and any courier could tell you the same. See it everywhere. The bear. Bear's too busy carving up the Mojave with knives, roads, borders, and how things should be, to see how it is. They're stretched thin, can't protect their front lines, their towns. Think paper's power, radio means control. All of it, useless. No matter now, Bear could hold the divide. You and that machine are all that remains of NCR here. Rest fell to radiation, fire, and what burrows below.
What burrows below? You mean those creatures in the underpass?
Tunnelers. Predators that make their own roads beneath the ground here. Divide broke their sky, showed them the world above, and the scent of new prey. Be a slower death for the Mojave than bombs and fire, but they'll come for its people, from where they least expect, below.
Radiation from the war might have created them, then detonations, quakes caused them to surface.
Makes sense. Truth favors that. Matches the history of this place. Were signs they were here for a long time. Before marked men. Before what happened to the divide had cracked their sky. If so, they were buried deep. Might have been born the day America's embers started to settle. Seen worse things twisted by radiation.
I've never seen creatures like that before now.
They'll start emerging throughout the Mojave in time. Might be years. Probably less. They breed fast, hunt in groups. More than enough to bring down the strongest in the Mojave. Once they draw blood. Seen them tear apart death claws. Death claw might get some, but the rest will swarm it, tear it apart, like Denver hounds.
You've been to Denver? That's Legion territory.
Mojave and the Divide aren't the only places I've walked. Walked the east too, before the Bull Gang. Then, much like Mojave before the Bear, tribes, towns, clutching to life. Bull did a better job.
The soldiers in Hopeville were once NCR, I'm sure of it. Why were they with the Legion?
You see, true. Not scavengers. It's what they wore. Before this all happened. Pain makes for strange allies. The hate of the Bear and the Bull shared across the battlefield. Now turned against the Divide. Few survived. Intact. Many NCR were already here when the destruction happened, keeping the route east open in fear of Kaiser, fear of the Legion.
NCR would have needed this supply line open to reinforce the Mojave and Hoover Dam.
The dam, that old world wall. The Bear, NCR, couldn't be allowed to reach it easily. Long 15, Canaan, both bad enough. think that our world was that wall cutting the Colorado. If I'd never laid eyes on it, never spoke of it. But once found, it was all Caesar could see. That, and the flag beyond it, another symbol, big enough to challenge him. And the divide, one of the roads to it. Legion was tasked with cutting that artery. If you can't kill the bear in one stroke, bleed it, starve it. That kind of murder. It's what any of the Legion would have done. Now, the divide belongs to history.
Those markmen in Hopeville had some strange masks and blades I've never seen before.
They bear false versions of Legate Denise's mask. The one Caesar fashioned for him. Thought it was an insult at first. No better now. It's shaped from divide metal, not with care and strength, but with hate. Keeps them anchored. Crude, effective, like the blades they carry. Distant mirrors of their legate, a symbol they can hold on to, while the divide tears at them.
I found some recordings from you in Hopeville.
The tapes. Didn't think those would be found. You know the divide better than I thought. Had tech from the big entity. Recorded a woman gave me. Didn't survive the road on its last legs. Cast it and the tapes aside. Weren't worth the words anyway. Not like I'd forget what happened. If you heard them, nothing but ramblings, reminders for a man who doesn't need them. Probably more lying from here to the divide.
You wouldn't have recorded those messages if they didn't matter to you?
Maybe not. Who's to say? You, perhaps, found them, heard them after I cast them aside. Maybe there was purpose in that. If they matter, if history matters, we'll see at the end of the road.
If this is the high road, where does it lead?
At the end of the high road lies Ashton, its silo. That machine with you, it can open it, wake it up, like it did the one in Hopeville.
You have a lot of hate for the robot with me. I can hear it in your voice.
Hate? No. There's nothing to hate in metal, steel, gold, or platinum. You're a machine. It's just a tool, made of wreckage of the divide. All that was brought here.
When you first spoke in Hopeville, you mentioned you'd sworn not to kill me. Why?
You know the why of it. If you don't, I do. And that's enough. Shows trust only walks so far west. Earned more than that, though, getting this far. We walk the same road, carry the same colors. Can't break that by making the road red. Want more than that? Walk the divide. Answers will come. Closer you get to home. You and that machine.
This road leads nowhere. There's nothing in the divide.
Many in the body think the divide's nothing but canyon and storm. Wasn't always. There was life, a town farther west. Not talking about an old world town like Hopeville. More recent. Something you saw in your lifetime. It had the name, the divide. ancient. Home's not what it was.
What makes you think this leads home?
All roads lead back to one's home. Not to birthplace, maybe, but home. Home isn't where you were born into this world. You taught me that. Part of your message, whether you meant it or not, can be a place of mind, a moment where you know who you are, the history of it, and they can be places you breathe life into. Never would have known the divide had it not been for you. The road you made with your tracks again and again. You were the only one willing to make the journey to and from here. A hard road. Kept the land before the divide alive through seasons, storms. Can't have been just a job. Was something more to you. Don't feel for a place that hard unless it's home.
I've walked a lot of hard roads Mojave before. It doesn't mean anything.
It means everything. Even if you deny it, cast it aside. That speaks to what you are. Proves what happened here. It was you walking that road that kept the divide alive. It grew from what you did. Settlers, camps, filling that old world city. Chance for a new mission, new beginning, new way of thinking. Could have breathed new life into the Mojave, bridging east, west, like a river dam. But not old world. Something you made. Road was supply line.
You're still making assumptions about all of this.
No. Recounting history. NCR saw the worth in that road you made. Staked a claim, whether it was wanted there or not. True elsewhere in the Mojave. And where the bear tries to cling to life, the Legion comes, airing messages. Some brought by blade, others by couriers. You knew what was coming, as sure as I know what's coming for you. This time you carry the burden. Walk west into the sun and keep walking until it dies.